and welcome to another speed build. Today I am building in San Sequoia, one of my favorite worlds to build, on the Sequoia Cottage lot. I love San Sequoia because anytime I need a neighborhood that's just suburban and just looks absolutely quintessential residential, this is where I go, is San Sequoia. So today I'm building what would probably be called a McMansion, and it's going to be 1990s themed. So in case you are not familiar with this style of architecture, and I use the term architecture very loosely, the McMansion style became popular starting in the 1980s in California in the United States, and it continued in popularity until like the early 2000s is when they really stopped building them. And it's just a Frankenstein monster mishmash of architectural styles, like Georgian and Mediterranean and chateau, and a lot of them have some sticking on them, which are like the little wooden architectural details, like over the front entranceway and sometimes under the roof line. But the main thing about McMansions that were popular during this time period was that they were usually 2,500 square feet or bigger. They were built extremely cheaply. They used subpar building materials, lower quality, and they cut corners, and they did this to give the appearance of opulence and mimic larger actual mansions that were built with higher quality materials and built to last. And you saw this was like a big thing in especially the 90s is when they really started like building these all across the country in the United States. And they didn't make sense because architecturally they had like columns that didn't fit the style of the house, and like I said, the sticking, like you can see here. And the one I'm doing today is a brick and stucco, which was a popular build, and a lot of times it wasn't even real brick, it was like the fabricated brick and stucco. So it was supposed to make it look like you were wealthy without actually putting in the money to do a quality build. And another feature that most of them had were these garages that were just oversized and jutting out in front of the house and just really disrupting the flow of the front of your house. What I would say that would like bring down your curb appeal, but like it seemed to be very popular. Now this side over here that I built for this garage, it looks like it's that whole area is the garage, but it's really not. Really, the back part of that will be the kitchen. But you'll see that more once we get into it. But like for me growing up, this was like the house that if you had the rich friend, you know, their parents were like upper middle class, or maybe you were the rich friend. I don't know. Maybe you lived in a McMansion. I mean, this is like the kind of house that I had a friend who had a house like this, and this was very much the inspiration for this build, was remembering this friend's house. It was actually a cousin, more so than just a friend. But so the inside, I wanted to do, it's another one of my themed builds, one of my decade builds. I wanted to do a 90s house because I did, for my 1990s build, I did a skating rink a couple years ago. It's pretty far down. I'll link it in the description. just in case you do want to go back and check it out without having to try and search for it. But I didn't do a residential for this decade. So I wanted to revisit the 90s and do a residential build for that decade. And it's just, I guess the 90s is one of my favorite decades to build in, simply because, like, I was a late 70s baby. And so, like, the 90s were like high school for me. The 90s were like peak of my childhood. So, like, I have very fond memories of the 90s. So I decided on the other side of this foyer here, which I thought about doing a 2-story foyer entrance because that was a very typical thing. But I don't know. I struggled with building a 2-story. I had issues. I felt like I didn't want to do it after I started trying to do it, so I scrapped that idea. But the little room that you just saw me finish was like a little gaming room where they would have had the old couch from the old house in there from like maybe the 80s or so, early 80s, for the kids to use. And we're just going to pretend like that console in there's an NES. And that and guinea pigs. Guinea pigs were a huge thing. I remember like everybody wanting a pet guinea pig like in the 90s. And so the parents were like, yeah, you can have a guinea pig, but you're going to keep it in the gaming room and you're going to take care of it. And that's what that room was meant to be. So this kitchen. So in the 90s, you had basically one of 3 choices for decorating your kitchen. Because themes were like a thing, you know? Like you wanted each one of your rooms to be a different theme. And kitchens were typically either country geese, blue and white checked apple, the checkerboard pattern apple, or Tuscan villa, which was like stereotypically Italian inspired and relied heavily on like stone and neutral beigey taupey colors and terracotta, and they did a lot of grapevines and grapes and wine themes in that decorating style. And so that's kind of what I was trying to go for here with this kitchen. But also, and this is interesting because I feel like Wedding Stories is supposed to be the Tartosa, the world that came with that, is supposed to be kind of a Tuscan inspired world. And yet when you go to start decorating things, there weren't that many things that just screamed Tuscan to me. So the kitchen, I'm gonna go under the assumption that the Sims that bought this house, they did love the Tuscan style kitchen there for the way that it was built and the unique little cubby that the stove is in and all of that stuff. But they went with the decorating of it with a more Southwest style instead of a vineyard style for the actual decorating of the kitchen, because that's what I found to work with in the colors that I wanted, was more of a Southwest theme in there. Not to be confused with the 80s Southwest theme that was pinks and blues and very pastel. And you can see that in the 1980s house that I did, the ranch style house that I did for the 1980s. I can link that one as well in case you are interested in watching those. But like, I only have 29 videos. It really wouldn't be hard for you to go down and find them. The dining room. So I wanted to do a country blue and dusty rose color scheme for this dining room because that was a very popular color combination back then. And the one chair at the dining table, the one that's up against the wall near where the curtains are, that one is inaccessible. I thought about taking it out and getting rid of it because it is inaccessible, but I decided to leave it just because it looks better with it being there. And the reality of the situation is, I don't know about you all when you were growing up with as a kid, but for us, there was typically at the dinner table, it was like butted up against the wall, and there was one seat that like nobody could get to, and guess what? That's where the kid got to sit. Was, squeezing into that chair between the wall and the table. So I wish that like you could actually do that in The Sims. But kind of how like you scooch over in the bed and you could like just maybe like slide into a chair. That would be fun. The living room, I went with more of the country blue, kind of that blue checkerboard theme very loosely, to bring in some of that country apple feeling. And then this powder room that is tucked here between the kitchen and the staircase. You had to have at least one bathroom or bedroom in the 90s that was burgundy and hunter green, because that was another very, very popular color combination. And I know you've seen it. I know you've seen the shower curtain that's like burgundy and then has like the hunter green squares across the top and the bottom with the little gold diamonds in it, like what is reflected on like that tile looks down there. I know you've seen it. You've seen it in pictures. I know you have. You've seen it in pictures. You've seen it in old TV shows and old movies. That thing was everywhere. To this day, I still get triggered by seeing that color combination. But it has to be here. Same thing with this. This is my gold and black themed dressing room, which is in the primary bedroom on the first floor. So this is, if you're looking at the front of the house, it's over to the left. It's on that left side, the opposite end from the kitchen and the garage. And I remember going in like furniture stores and Big Lots growing up, and the black lacquer furniture with the gold trim it was everywhere. It was so popular. And like the fake gold statues and the just black and gold, you could get a whole set, just a whole matching set of black and gold for your bedroom and your living room. It was so popular. And Value City furniture. Does anybody remember Value City? Does anybody remember Value City furniture? I know Value City furniture lasted a lot longer than Value City. Value City, most of them closed down before the Value City furniture part closed down. But like that was another cheap place to get furniture. The primary bedroom here, I went with the whole theme of the whole matchy-matchy again. I wanted to give the illusion of the fact that you could look through the JCPenney catalog at that time and get your entire bedroom set. The wallpaper, curtains matched the comforter, matched the little doily things that you put on your tables, matched the rugs, just everything. It looked like someone had just walked into your bedroom and just puked up this pattern all over your entire room. I do like the way that bathroom turned out though. That was one good feature that they started with the McMansions, were making bathrooms that were more than just like the shower tub combo, the toilet, and the vanity. They were a little bit more interesting, and they started separating the shower and the tub. At least in my experience from growing up, that's when I started noticing that separation. So that was you just saw the last room that I did down there. It was a room that you could get to from the living room. And I decided to make it a crafting room because that seemed like that really fit the time period. There is a computer, don't worry, because I know how Sims love their computers, but it's going to be up here in the upstairs part that we're starting now over in the landing, and you'll see that soon towards the end of the video. But the crafting room seemed like it fit for me because I remember in the 90s crafting was a big thing. Scrapbooking, jewelry making, those kind of things. Any type of crafting was big. Those little looms. In elementary school we always had a week where in art class we had those little looms, and we would weave a pot holder, typically close to Mother's Day, to give to your mom. So I felt like there would be a room dedicated to crafting. So this is the first upstairs bedroom. We end up with 3 bedrooms total in this house and 4 bathrooms. This bedroom also has an ensuite, and I decorated this with it being the thought of a teenage girl's bedroom in the 90s. And I really liked the way that little window seat bench area turned out. Not specifically the bench part itself, but like in front of it, where I've got the I think that piece of clutter is called the extended study stack, where it's got the books and the open books and the pens and pencils, stuff like you're actively doing homework. And I wanted it there on the floor on that rug, because I can remember growing up, 9 times out of 10, if I was doing homework or working on something, I was laying on the floor on the carpet, doing things. And not just homework, just things, scrapbooking, coloring, whatever it was I was doing, looking through magazines, I was laying on the floor, typically. I don't know, maybe it's just a very kid thing to do. And the ensuite bathroom for the teenage girl's bedroom is small. It's the typical shower tub combo, sink vanity, and I just wanted to make it very cluttered because I felt like it would be. This was a room that I decorated with a Star Wars theme. It doesn't have a lot going on in there, and I know you didn't get to see a lot of it, but you'll get to see it in the screenshots. It took me, and I don't know why, but it took me a long time to get stuff slotted onto that storage shelf across from R2-D2 where I wanted it. So, if you don't have the Journey to Batuu expansion pack, game pack, whatever it is, don't get too worried about it. You just won't have the stuff in this Star Wars room, the decorations in the Star Wars room. You could still download this from the gallery and throw some decorations in that room, and it would be a fully functional second bedroom there. This little TV that I put out in the landing area across from the computer there, I felt like this TV looked like those little... I don't remember if they were 9-inch TVs or 13-inch TVs, but you know, the ones that had the little, the VCR built in the bottom, the little TV VCR combo. If you are old enough to remember that. I'm assuming that maybe you are. I don't know. Or maybe you've at least seen them, or seen them on TV or seen them in a movie. Your backyard. Your backyard is not very big, but we have tucked in quite a few things here. I have like the little patio area. We've got a little grilling area, and then the hot tub over to the side. I really wanted a pool back here, but there really wasn't room for a pool. Not a sufficient size pool. Like, it would have had to have been like a little pool, like a little pool where you could like swim laps. I think they call them, what do they call them? They've got, not a lap pool, but like they've got these smaller size pools that are like maybe like 8 foot by 8 foot square here in Florida. Plunge pool, that's what they call them, plunge pool, where it's not like, you know, a full size pool, but it's like a little bit of a pool. But I didn't want to add that back there. And then the privacy screens that I put around the hot tub, they do go all the way around, but I cut out putting those, placing them all the way around, because for some reason it took me longer than it should have to place them, and it just kind of got monotonous. The landscaping on this is a little, it's not as full as what I would normally do for landscaping, but that was very much a product of the 90s. I know, at least in our neighborhood, that where the landscaping was kind of, it was very, you just went to Walmart and bought flowers and put them in your flower beds. I don't know. Maybe somebody in a house like this would have had more professional landscaping come and be done. I'm not sure. But it is what it is. I also get rid of here in a second that big planter over there on the side with the flowers in it in the front yard that you saw. So it's gone. I don't know. It just didn't feel quite right to me. And then also I thought, since you don't have much room in the backyard, you might want to have some room in the front yard to put some stuff out here that you might want. This basketball goal over on the side does not function. It is there for the way it looks only. If you want it to function, that piece of concrete underneath, which is a stone road, I think, from the Get Famous pack, just delete that and it'll work. I just put it there because it looked weird being just over there in the grass. But other than that, everything functions perfectly. It's been play tested. Of course, as always, there's no custom content because I play on PS5, so can't have custom content. And it is ready for you to download from the gallery under my gallery ID pyxiedusted, as always. Thank you so very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed watching this one as much as I enjoyed building this one. And I will see you in the next one. Bye now.